Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 493. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis. Welcome to the blogcast. This blogcast is 10 years old. 10! I checked the date after I finished recording last week, and last week was exactly 10 years since I recorded the first episode of this thing. So that's amazing. Can you conceive of 10 years having passed with this business? I cannot. But here we are, episode 493. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis. We're going to talk about GPS and accents and AI and stuff in this episode. Is there anything I need to tell you before I read it to you? I don't think so. I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to sing you a song, and that's how this goes. So here it is. It is called Pronounce Queens. The voice of the GPS sounds like a British man with an RP accent, and he gives his instructions to turn right or left like he's a butler guiding the staff. He mispronounces some things funny because he does not have local knowledge. For example, he'll tell us to take the Koch Bridge when everyone knows that our former mayor, Ed Koch's name, is pronounced with a clear ch. On our way home, though, this GPS voice made a mistake that I can't stop thinking about. He said we should get on the RFK Bridge and take the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. And he pronounced the word Queens as Queens. Queens. Hilarious. But what particularly struck me about this mistake is that it would never be made by an actual British person. Our accents in real people are reflective of certain experiences, contexts, and frameworks. This GPS sounded like someone who'd been raised in Her Majesty's England, but in fact has no knowledge of the royals, nor kings, nor queens. He is a collection of sounds, not a collection of experiences. He does not drink tea. He's never had beans on toast. He's had no cultural experiences. He doesn't have a preference of music. He doesn't care about biscuits or chips. He didn't grow up in a monarchy. He didn't grow up. He doesn't exist. I think this is important to remember in this moment. Wired magazine did a piece about people using AI for comfort and therapy. It does at first seem like the AI is doing those troubled, lonely people some good. But the people they're talking to are not people. They're bots who are able to reflect the needs and desires of the people talking to them due to their LLM training, but they have no background. They have no other experiences. When you meet a person, like an actual person with a British accent, you can make some guesses about them, some basic assumptions. You can be reasonably sure they know what a queen is, for example. But an AI with a British accent just makes noises in a particular way. This is all it is. It isn't actually British. And it also has no local knowledge. Around here, we call the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway the BQE. When this voice told us to take the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, it took me a solid minute to work out what it was talking about. It doesn't have local knowledge, and it doesn't have knowledge, period, outside of what route to take. It seems like this will be important to remember as we drive forward into the future. As I watch people close to me dive into AI headlong, assuming that there will be guardrails or human context behind the voices, I just want them to think about Queens, and just consider how much experience they're filling in on their own. Part of the reason I can't stop thinking of the British GPS voice is because it flies in the face of my projected idea of the persona behind the voice. If it had mispronounced something particularly American, I'd have thought nothing of it. Why should it know what disco fries are? Or the distinction between kinds of pants? But Queens? Queens! Even though I know this GPS is just a program, I still imbued it with the experience and personality of a person. We can't help it. And I think this is one of the things that makes it dangerous. So I wrote this one in December, I think, and totally forgot about it. It was, I even typed it up. But there's quite a few that are kind of in reserve. I haven't been posting quite as much as I've been writing, I guess. But anyway, I'd forgotten about this one entirely. And then we were in the car again, and the GPS did it again. And I was like, oh, wait, I wrote a whole thing about this. What? So, handy reminder. And I do think we figured out why it says QNs and not Queens. And that is in a lot of the signage in various places that they've shortened Queens. So they took all the vowels out. So I think because Brooklyn Queens Expressway is a lot of letters to fit on a sign. So sometimes it says like Brooklyn without the vowels, Queens without the vowels, and then maybe Expressway is shortened in some way too. I don't quite remember. But I did see that sign and went, maybe that's why I can't pronounce Queens. But, when you're in a GPS, like in a car, like Waze or, whatever you're using, like you're not seeing anything. So you're just hearing the voice. And this voice, I think it pronounced Brooklyn funny as well. I couldn't tell you how. Brooklyn, I don't know, something. So it was just impossible to be like, what road are we supposed to take? This is crazy. And it was Queens this whole time? My goodness. Yeah. So, what song am I going to give you? You may be wondering. In fact, some have already wondered. And it's not God Save the Queen. I am sorry to tell you. Although I'm not sorry to tell you because that would be very silly. So I was looking up songs that are particularly English, British, and it suddenly occurred to me that I should do Billy Bragg's A New England, because it's a song about England, and when you hear him sing it, it is very British. It is in his very English accent, and which is very different than the GPS British accent, by the way. And I did, for a half a second, think about singing the song in Billy Bragg's accent, but then I thought that would be silly. But I will say, if you are unfamiliar with this song, do a little Google and enjoy Billy Bragg's very English-sounding voice. He would know how to pronounce Queens. That much I know. And this is a song I have loved for many years, so it was an absolute delight to mess around with it. And I mean, it's called A New England, which to me meant the northern states of the United States, because that's New England. Didn't even occur to me, I think, until I listened to this song, that New England was a new England, that's what they were going for up there. So I was real quick. Anyway, I know now, don't worry. But yeah, this is a kind of a sweet song. It's sort of a love song, sort of not. It feels right for the moment, a bit about, not wanting to change the world, except, it's coming from Billy Bragg, so he does actually want to change the world quite a bit. So, some fun contradictions, I would say. And I'm going to sing that for you in just a moment. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, please tell someone about it. It's 10 years old. Write, review, subscribe. I don't know, write a song about it, sing it out on the street. Well, no one's going to do that. But whatever you can do, it would be very helpful. If you would like to support this podcast with your dollars, or any currency, really, we've got patreon.com/Emily R. Davis. That's the top of the line. But there's also Ko-fi, there's PayPal. You can be a paid subscriber on Substack. All of that works and all gets to me and helps me keep doing this, which, I have managed for 10 whole years. But it is a shoestring operation. I've just been listening to a podcast from a few years ago called Shameless Acquisition Podcast, I think it's called. And it's basically this podcaster trying to get acquired and bought out and, make some money making a podcast. But there's like a count of like how much money she spent on the podcast. And that number keeps going up, and the money she's making on the podcast, I'm only 3 episodes in, so, maybe it gets better. But the spending goes up and the income does not. And that is also true for me. Not quite to the extreme as this woman. Because this podcast, gratefully, does not cost a lot of money to make. Thank goodness. It just takes my time and attention and creative impulses, etc. So, if you'd like to invest in those, please come along. But mostly, I'm just incredibly grateful for your ears, for your attention, for your coming on this 10-year anniversary with me. So let me play for you a New England. I thought about playing it on the electric since, every version of the song that I've heard is on electric. But I thought maybe it'll give it a kind of a different vibe if I play it on the acoustic. So I did. And it was a good time. So here it is. It is Billy Bragg's A New England. I was 21 years when I wrote this song. I'm 22 now, but it won't be for long. People ask me, when will you grow up to be a man? But all the girls I loved at school already pushing prams. I loved you then as I love you still. Though I put you on a pedestal, they put you on the pill. I don't feel bad about letting you go. I just feel sad about letting you know. I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for a New England. I'm just looking for another girl. I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for a New England. I'm just looking for another girl. I loved the words you wrote to me, but that was bloody yesterday. I can't survive on what you send every time you need a friend. I saw 2 shooting stars last night. I wished on them, but they were only satellites, and wrong to wish on space hardware. I wish you'd care. I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for a New England. I'm just looking for another girl. I don't want to change the world.